This video is brought to you by Wondershare Filmora 10. Gamers, hello and welcome back to This Week in Video Games. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. I certainly have. The highlight, of course, being the podcast I did with Alana Pierce, Yong Ye, and the sexiest man working in video games right now, Jake Baldino. A lot of people don't know Jake, by the way, but I bet you'd know him if I showed you this thumbnail template. That's right, Jake is the before you buy guy over at GameRanks. I love his stuff. I love all these people, in fact. The podcast is over at Alana Pierce's YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Alright, enough of the cross-promotion. Let's talk about some gaming news. You know what would really suck? Being a gamer in China, or more specifically, being a gamer under the age of 16 in China. This week, the Chinese government passed legislation that effectively banned young people from playing video games. Here's the deal, if you're age 16 or under, you're only allowed to play video games for 3 hours per week. You're allowed to play between the hours of 8 PM and 9 PM on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights only. God, that fucking sucks. The ban comes just as South Korea relaxed a similar but less restrictive ban, which is being removed because legislators felt it impeded on young people's rights. If there's one thing the Chinese government doesn't care about, it's people's rights. So this ban is very on brand. Some people are wondering how this sort of ban might be enforced, but China has far stricter requirements for online account creations than we do here in the West. So while it will be perfectly possible for young people to sidestep these limitations if they're clever, many will be stuck with them. 3 hours a week, man. That's like one MSQ roulette in Final Fantasy XIV. That's like 3 games of Overwatch if you're queuing DPS. That's like one GTA 5 load screen. Good luck, Chinese kids. I certainly wouldn't want to be in your shoes. That wasn't the only China-related story this week. Bloomberg revealed that Yakuza franchise creator Toshihiro Nagoshi of Sega is in final negotiations with China's NetEase. The talks involve not only poaching him, but setting up at least one studio for him to lead. All of this is unconfirmed, of course, but if it's true, it's a very big deal. Yakuza is one of the most respected and beloved gaming franchises of the last 2 decades, with a fandom spanning multiple platforms and territories. Once seen as niche in its appeal, Yakuza has recently exploded in popularity as Sega has begrudgingly accepted that what's popular in Japan is also probably going to be popular in the West, so long as you spend the money to translate and publish it. The Yakuza series can get pretty real sometimes, and I do wonder if Nagoshi will have the same creative freedom if he's reporting into Beijing, but that's a question for if and when this news gets confirmed. Here comes my most hype top story of the week. You ready? Death Stranding 2 is basically confirmed. Yes, round of applause everyone. Yes, that's right, love to see it. Speaking to IGN Brazil, Death Stranding lead and Hideo Kojima homie Norman Reedus just blurted it out, quote, "I think we're doing a second Death Stranding. The game is in negotiations right now, so yay," end quote. It's really weird hearing Dale say yay, by the way. He's not a yay kind of dude, but this is absolutely yay news, so well said, my friend. Death Stranding was an underappreciated masterpiece, and I always like to go back and read old reviews completely shitting on it because they make me laugh heartily. Death Stranding was a wholly unique, esoteric experience, and how many of those do we get these days in AAA? 0. That's how many. Anyway, I promised myself I wouldn't let this section devolve into a Death Stranding love-in, so that's not going to happen. But yes, Death Stranding 2 is probably happening. Probably, maybe, hopefully. Please let it happen. I can't wait to see the next generation of Kojima product placement. Don't let us down. Naughty Dog fans, or doggies, as absolutely no one calls them, it's time to get hyped up because the next big thing from the house that Crunch built is on its way, sort of. This week, Naughty Dog tweeted out job openings for an upcoming standalone multiplayer game, the first in the studio's history. It's hard to know exactly where to place this news because there have been more than a few rumors and leaks about the multiplayer side of The Last of Us 2, with fans clamoring for the much-loved Factions game mode to make a return. Naughty Dog has been tight-lipped on this, despite saying back in 2019 that there was some sort of Last of Us multiplayer mode in the works. That was a long time ago though, so if this latest job listing is any hint, it's likely that Naughty Dog have spun off Factions into a standalone offering and have big plans for it. I mean, if they're still hiring core talent at this point, they clearly aren't half-arsing it. Not expecting to hear any updates on this one anytime soon, but do watch this space. It's a new week, which means even more stories spilling out of the absolute shit show that is Activision Blizzard. This week, things took a very serious turn when the Californian agency bringing the suit against Activision Blizzard accused them of destroying evidence. The accusation came as part of an enlarging of the suit to now include temporary workers. This addition is likely in relation to the recent reporting on the way Activision has treated temporary quality assurance staff, offering them low pay, no job security and driving a crunch-based culture where employees are expected to work unpaid overtime. Nestled within that expanded submission was the allegation that Activision Blizzard were directly interfering in the investigation and that, quote, documents related to the investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel, end quote. Holy shit, dude, that is big. That's Bobby Kotick going full Succession right there. If this is true, this is criminal. You can go to jail for this. For what it's worth, Activision Blizzard have denied the allegation, but they also denied that there was any workplace harassment taking place at their company, so I think we're all okay to take what they say with a big bucket of salt. It's almost as though Blizzard can smell our skepticism though, because this week they committed to real, meaningful action that is sure to bring about the systemic change that Blizzard employees are calling for. They're changing the name of one of their Overwatch characters. You might remember that a few weeks ago, Diablo designer McCree was publicly sacked by Blizzard, and while they didn't say why, it was pretty clear it was in relation to the lawsuit stuff. Well, McCree is low-key famous to anyone that's played Overwatch because the cowboy fighter was named after him, so given his ignominious exit from Blizzard, it puts his namesake in an awkward spot. Blizzard announced that the name would be changed in a coming update and that a future content drop would also be delayed because McCree was a central character within that story arc. They also announced that they would no longer be naming any game characters after employees. I'm really bummed out about this. I was so looking forward to playing Overwatch's next hero, Jay, whose super applies a 6-month silencing effect on any hero who dares to voice a political opinion. Too soon? Too spicy? I don't care. Blitzchung was a hero and we should never forget that. It was Gamescom this week and there was a hell of a lot of stuff announced there too. Too much to cover here, so we'll just cover the chunky stuff. First up, Horizon Zero Dawn got a release date. It's arriving February 18th, 2022. The surprise news is that its predecessor, Horizon Zero Dawn, just got a free PS5 update which runs the game at 60 FPS. That's great. Love it. If you haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn yet, I absolutely recommend it because it is fantastic. The other big release date announcement was for that little Halo game you might have heard about, Halo Infinite. After being delayed from a planned 2020 release date, and after recently announcing that the game will not ship with campaign co-op or forged creation tools, the game got an official release date of 8th of December this year. I'm a little worried about this one. To have core features like that chopped off this close to launch after a 12-month delay, yeah, I want Halo to be great as well, but that news did give me pause. Here's hoping 343 can pull through and give Halo fans the game they deserve. The most controversial reveal of the show was unquestionably Saints Row, the reboot of the franchise that always asked, what if GTA, but completely batshit insane? The reveal was teased earlier and people were very hyped. The reveal then happened and people were very not hyped. Not hyped at all. The reveal trailer has been pummeled with dislikes on YouTube, and the Twitter and Reddit discourse has been particularly hostile. Most people don't like what they've seen of the art style, the tone, and the characters. I get that. I actually saw a behind closed doors demo of the game, and it did look fun. The car chasing, the combat, the real estate management minigame as you acquire turf and put it to work as you build a criminal empire, all that stuff looked really good. But yeah, it does look a little bit like Fortnite, and I do think the characters were a little cringy. Clearly the dev team are pitching their game at a younger audience this time around, and the problem with that is that your average Saints Row fan is older. I mean, the first game came out 15 years ago now, right? When I first saw this behind closed doors demo, I thought to myself, I don't know that fans are gonna like this. And sure enough, they did not like this. But look, it's too early to judge, we have to play it first, and the good news is that we won't have to wait too long for that, because Saints Row is locked in for a February 25th, 2022 release date. That is pretty soon. Two other reveals really caught my eye. The first was Marvel's Midnight Suns. For a while now, there have been rumors swirling about an XCOM-style game featuring Marvel heroes. Well, those rumors were right, and Firaxis, the studio behind XCOM, are making a Marvel XCOM game. Of course, that is a cool idea, and any sane person would be down for it, but I was honestly not ready for just how good this trailer was. Yeah, it was all CG and whatever, but the character roster was full of really weird, cool pics, and they each had this great art style behind them, and the whole thing just looked so good. This team understands this gameplay formula better than anyone, and I'm sure we're in for a good time when the game releases at some point next year. Finally, breakout surprise of the show was whatever the hell this is. This is Doke V. When I was chatting with Yong, he's like, it's Doke 5. No, it's not Doke 5. Anyway, it looks totally wild. It's from the same studio who do Black Desert Online, so this one's a slightly different tone. It started out as an MMO, but morphed into a monster catching and training game, so it's essentially Pokemon if Game Freak gave two shits about updating their games, either mechanically or visually. For real, imagine if Pokemon took the billions and billions of dollars they make each year and bothered to make a game that looks good. It might look a little something like this. I'm not convinced that Doki V or Doke V, whatever, I'm not convinced this is a real game yet. It just looks kind of weird. Trailer runs at like 10 FPS and a lot of it looks kind of fake. But if it looks something like this, and if the gameplay is half as wild as we're seeing here, then this is gonna be awesome. No release date yet, but it's out at some point next year, maybe. Hopefully. Wrapping up the news block for today, two quick things I wanted to touch on. First up, xCloud is coming to Xbox consoles. Xbox's cloud streaming service was recently updated to Xbox Series X hardware, and come this holiday season, you're gonna be able to access xCloud from your Xbox One, Xbox Series S, or Series X. This means that you're going to be able to play next-gen games running on Series X hardware using your old-ass Xbox One. You probably still have the Kinect plugged in, don't you? No, you don't. No one ever did. Anyway, this is good even if you have a Series X, because instead of downloading a game to try it out, you can just stream it first, and if you like it, you can then download the client and play it on your local hardware. There's nothing that isn't great about this. Look forward to it hitting your machines in the next few months. Finally, we got an update on the Dr. Disrespect lawsuit situation. Last year, the doc was unceremoniously dropped by Twitch, banned for some reason that they wouldn't disclose. The doc says he had no idea why he was banned, and publicly said as much on many occasions. This has always been a strange assertion, as it's crazy to imagine that a partnership worth millions of dollars could be terminated without Twitch having to explain why. But anyway, that's what the doc says. Recently though, he's claimed that he has learned why he was banned, and he will be, quote, suing the fuck out of Twitch, end quote. He explained that he's making about a fourth of what he used to make, as large brands are skeptical of the reason he was banned, since it's a big mystery, and brands are really risk averse. Okay, well then just tell everyone why you were banned so that they'll know, and then the brands can work with you again, right? I guess not, because that hasn't happened. If he does take this to court, we'll probably find out though, because those proceedings will probably be public in some way, shape or form. I suspect this will be a very interesting trial to watch. So, what got announced or delayed this week? Well, to be honest, we covered a lot of the big stuff in the Gamescom block, so I'll just tick off a few smaller items here. First up, Skate is coming to PC. The upcoming franchise reboot was always going to hit consoles, but PC was a question mark. No longer. The official Twitter account confirmed the game would also arrive on PC. We still don't have a date for this, but it's probably going to be like 2023 or later. JETT The Far Shore, the gorgeous exploration game heading to PC and PlayStation, got a release date, October 5th. I'm looking forward to this one. Crusader Kings 3, one of the highest rated games of last year, is getting a next-gen update for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. No date for this one yet. Remember when I said that Splitgate was delaying its 1.0 release indefinitely? Well, surprise, it's out now. At Gamescom, the developers did a bit of a 180 and said that the first official Splitgate season had begun, marking the official release of the game. It's still blowing up, people love it, and it's free, so it's a great time to check it out if you are interested. And finally, upcoming MMO New World announced an open beta commencing September 9th ahead of a September 28th release date. The game was recently delayed as they tightened a few screws after their closed beta. Lots of positive buzz behind this one, to be honest. My editor, Austin, he loved it. He'll probably give you another one of those editor's choice updates after he's dumped a bunch of hours into it, so stay tuned for that. So, what came out last week? Well, there was a whole bunch of releases that had their review embargoes expire earlier, which meant that we could talk about them prior to release last week. The only exception to that was No More Heroes 3, which arrived on the Switch on the 27th. How were the reviews? They were pretty good. It's sitting at 74 on Metacritic, which isn't super great, but it's sitting at an 8.9 user score, so the fans are clearly very happy. Press Start Australia scored it a 95, saying, quote, a streamlined structure, some fantastic writing and direction from Goichi Suda, and some of the tightest combat the series has ever seen makes No More Heroes 3 the best in the series, end quote. While GameSpot did not enjoy it, scoring at a 40 and saying, quote, if you had a mandate for all the things a No More Heroes game shouldn't be, boring would be near the top of the list, but this sequel frequently is just that, end quote. Ouch. Let's check the user score for that review, and yep, that's just about what I expected. So, what's coming out this week? A hell of a lot, that's what. First up, game of the generation, MANEATER is getting some DLC. Love to see it. It's called Truth Quest, and it's apparently about conspiracy theories like the Illuminati and Roswell and the moon landing, because that has something to do with sharks, I guess. Anyway, it hit all platforms yesterday. RUSTLER is basically ye old-timey Grand Theft Auto. You can hijack people's horses, and the local sheriff will chase you down, and they have a red and blue siren for some reason. Anyway, this got decent reviews when it hit PC. It hit consoles yesterday. Song of Iron is a game I've been following for a long while. Ever since I first saw footage of it on Twitter, actually. It's a stunningly beautiful Nordic-inspired 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, and it hit Xbox and PC yesterday. A game I highlighted 2 weeks back got a surprise release date. That date was yesterday. CLID the SNAIL is a top-down shooter where you play as a heavily armored and heavily armed snail. It's a weird premise, but the gameplay and visuals look solid, and the team behind it are plenty passionate. It hit PS4 and PC yesterday. I look forward to playing through this one. Finally, Kiwi arrived yesterday for all platforms. It's a co-op mail delivery game that seems a little like Overcooked meets a Rube Goldberg machine. The art style looks awesome, and the demo buzz was very positive, so check this one out if you're looking for your next co-op fix. Believe it or not, that is not the only mail delivery game we are getting this week. Lake arrives for the Xbox and PC today, and it's a more subdued, narrative-driven take on the Strand-type FedEx simulator formula. Impressions for the demo were a lot more mixed for this one, so here's hoping the final product impresses. SHADDAI, Ascension of the Metatron. I yelled that because the last 3 words are all in capital letters, so I'm assuming they wanted me to yell it. It originally came out back in 2011 for the PS3 and Xbox 360, but it's being re-released tomorrow on PC. I didn't play this one, in fact I didn't even know that it existed, but it apparently has cult classic status, and it certainly has an art style worth paying attention to. I don't think I'll have time for this one, but I'll certainly be checking out some reviews for it when they hit. WRC 10 arrives for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC tomorrow. I'm not a racing dude, but I do remember playing the old WRC games back in the day and really love those. Sega Rally, Colin McCree, I used to love all that. Now I play Dirt 5 actually. It's really good, you should check it out if you haven't. It's like the fun arcade rally game where WRC 10 is the serious business. Choose your poison. Here's one I profiled a few weeks back as well, Golf Club Wasteland. The golf game where you use the ruins of a human city as your personal golf resort. It's morbid, but it does look nice. It's out on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC on the 3rd. Finally, one of Xbox's exclusives is exclusive no longer. The Medium arrives for the PS5 on the 3rd. Now this one was controversial for a bunch of reasons, including the way it handled mental health issues in its climax, but more broadly, a lot of people just didn't like this game. Personally, I did. It wasn't top-shelf horror by any means, but it was interesting, carried in particular by its arresting art style and its confronting themes. This is from Bloober Team, the studio who are currently working on a Silent Hill game. So yeah, no pressure on that one. While this is arriving on PS5 this week, don't forget you can still also grab it on Game Pass for either Xbox or PC. Put this on your radar. Midnight Fight Express was a game that my editor Austin pointed out to me a few weeks back, and it looked great, but we hadn't heard much from the solo dev for a while, so I thought I'd hold off until the next trailer drop. Well, we got it at Gamescom, and yeah, the game continues to look absolutely awesome. The isometric brawler seems to combine the best parts of Hotline Miami with Absolver, with John Wick, with an absolutely banging soundtrack to match. Sifu is the martial arts game with the most hype behind it at this point, but Midnight Fight Express is punching well above its weight, given that this is a game made by a single developer. It's always so crazy to me when those sorts of things happen. Like, how do people do this? Anyway, no specific release date for this one yet, but it's hitting PC sometime mid-next year, and I'm gonna guess we can expect console releases after that. Check the description below and add it to your Steam list, as this always helps out developers in a big way, especially solo indie devs. Sort of free stuff time, and we're at the start of a new month, which means the free stuff is flowing. First up is Epic. Right now you can grab Factorio-like Automachef for free, as well as a surprise arrival, Saints Row the 3rd Remastered. I wonder if this was a giveaway to appease the angry hordes after that trailer reveal. Get in quick on those though, because they expire on the 2nd of September, at which point the free game will become YOKU'S Island Express, which, and you're not going to believe this, is another game about a postman. It's a charming 2D platformer that mixes in some pinball mechanics, because why not? It's 94% very positive on Steam, so there's a lot of love out there for it. grab it when it pops up later this week. Twitch Prime is getting a whole load of free games starting today, but the highlight has got to be EA's Knockout City, which has had nothing but rave reviews all round and is steadily building a community behind it. You could already get this for basically free since it had a very generous free trial, but with Twitch Prime you can get it for free, so enjoy. I tell you what, Uncle Phil must be watching these videos and he must be tired of me roasting games with gold every month, because lately he has been picking up the slack. This month the House of Halo is giving away Mulaka, not to be confused with Malaka, which is Greek and means something very different. There's Samurai Showdown 2 for the Xbox 360, okay? Zone of Enders HD Collection. Now there's a name I've not heard for a long time. The Hideo Kojima created franchise was made most famous for the fact that the game came with a free demo of Metal Gear Solid 2, a demo where you played as Snake. God, Kojima really trolled us with that one. Finally, there's Warhammer CHAOSBANE. Now look, I don't think this is great. In fact, I reviewed it and I said as much. It's very basic, but it's not offensively bad. It's no Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. So yeah, if you set your expectations at the right level, this is a perfectly fine, very lightweight ARPG that you can mess around with for a few hours and forget about soon after that. Nothing wrong with that given the price point. And finally, our feel-good story for the week comes courtesy of Xbox executive Aaron Greenberg, who has but one simple request. Please do not name your kid Game Pass. The request came as part of a live stream event where another guest, Pete Hines of Bethesda, recounted a story where a woman went into labor during a Skyrim presentation at QuakeCon, at which point someone suggested that they should have named the baby Dovahkiin. That didn't happen, sadly, but Pete Hines said that someone else had legally changed their child's name to Dovahkiin, ensuring that that child would either end up a Viking badass who bench presses 350 pounds, or a weedy nerd who's too scared to go out of the library because it's the one place the bullies can't yell Fusro Da at him to tease him. This prompted Greenberg to suggest that Game Pass is not an appropriate name for your child, but I disagree. I want an entire generation of children named after our favorite gaming streaming services. Game Pass, PS Now, EA Play, GeForce Now, Apple Arcade. The kids will be like, "Miss, Game Pass is bullying me." And the teacher will be like, "As well they should, Stadia. As well they should." And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the week in video games. If you enjoyed yourself, it would be spectacular if you could drop the video a like. Even better if you could subscribe, and triple S tier if you ding the notification bell. Always appreciate you taking the time out of your week to be here, so thank you. And a big thanks to this week's sponsor, Wondershare Filmora, who we're going to hear about right now. Guys, a lot of people speak to me about their journey towards being a content creator. So one of the things I'm always keeping an eye out for are sponsors that can help in that endeavor. That's why I've pointed you to other stuff that can help you build a website, or teach you how to write or film, or just find more motivation. That's why I was really happy when today's sponsor reached out to me, Wondershare Filmora. Wondershare Filmora is a video editing platform that is easy to pick up and learn, provides plenty of advanced features for experienced users, and it's insanely well priced compared to other video editing platforms on the market. My editing career has been spent elsewhere, which, I'm not allowed to name those other companies, but you know what they are. The thing about those other ones is that they're chock full of features you'll never use if you're just making videos for social media like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. So they complicate the software, and you always have to pay that premium price for all this stuff you'll never need. This is where Wondershare Filmora shines. It's really focused on being user-friendly, and it's full of features that you'll actually want to use, like this template tool they just added, which allows you to quickly create stylized videos using pre-populated templates rather than having to build all the effects from scratch. The other thing I really love is that it's got a help function built into the program, so you can reach out for some support if you ever get stuck. And they have this really buzzing YouTube channel full of new content updates, advanced how-to guides, and general hints and tips. But like I said, the price tag on this is crazy. I can't talk about specific comparisons because, again, I'm not allowed to, but if you do your research, do the comparisons, you will find out just how much cheaper this program is, making it the perfect place to start if you want to begin a career in content creation, or just start doing it for fun. Best of all, Wondershare Filmora 10 is free to try, so you can start messing about with it and, try it before you buy. Click the link in the description below, and if you do try it out, reply to the pinned comment below for a chance to win a free 1-year license. Thanks Wondershare Filmora for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.